Welcome here to the FWA review. I'm Carrie Brown and I'm joined by the FWA's former chairman, Gerry Cox. Gerry, this was very much promoted, I'm afraid, or flagged in the back pages on Monday, but Pulis, who would have imagined that at the start of the season, has left West Brom.
Morning, Carrie. Yes, I was at the game actually, and Tony Pulis was not really saying yes or no, but I think the language, the body language and his own language was fairly clear that he wasn't going to be staying much longer. He said he'd had a meeting with the Chinese owners on Friday night, stressing how nice they were and what great guys they were. But he was also pretty realistic that their run of form and also the way they're playing, the fans were booing. It was the end was coming sooner rather than later. I think Ralph Ellis, one of our members, went quite strong with it in the Daily Star on Sunday. So not unexpected. Pulis is gone. West Brom are in a bit of a situation. They're just one place above the relegation zone. So they need a sort of Tony Pulis type figure. Maybe Big Sam. Yeah, he's a black country boy. Maybe I'd imagine he'll be hot in the bookies running for that. So yeah, watch this space.
Some talk about how little coverage this remarkable team and most importantly this remarkable player is getting. KDB FC. You've overridden a few Football Writer Player of the Year. Is he strongly in contention?
Well, he's got to be. I mean, already, I think the years I was chairman, Thierry Henry won it twice, and Frank Lampard was our Footballer of the Year. Scoring goals, spectacular goals, leading their team to title triumphs, and that's exactly what this man's doing. The goal on Saturday was another belter. He did it at Chelsea. He's the all-round midfielder, the complete play, he can pass, tackle, both feet. I think his left foot's meant to be weaker, but you wouldn't guess it from that one the other day. So yeah, I mean, it's months to go. We vote in April, and our award is in May, but he's got to be front runner for that. And I know a lot of football writers like to have their Footballer of the Year coming with a medal. So looking like Chelsea are going to win the league. You'd expect them, at this stage
City.
to be... Sorry.
No, we can all do it.
City look like they're going to win it, and with De Bruyne playing like that, he's got to be absolute favourite at the moment.
Zlatan returns.
Well, there's a man who could upset the apple cart. The Lions.
The Lions and the Lambs. Quite a nice take on that, isn't it? In the sense that he said, only a lion comes back from his injury as he does. He's not human, he's a lion. Adding that air of mystery as well, as he always does, by saying if anyone knew how bad his injury really was, without elaborating, they'd be even more impressed by his return.
Well, it's the Zlatan doing the I am Zlatan, I'm superhuman bit. But I mean, he has come back early, and it's a great time to be coming back for Manchester United. They're still completely in the title race. They got another good win at the weekend against Newcastle. They've got City coming up. City haven't done that well against Spurs or United over the last 2 seasons. They've only won one of those 8 games. They play them both in December. That could start to, if they drop points there, that's when it could start to falter for them. And Zlatan coming back into the team is obviously a massive boost for United.
And humble pie swallowed with the Lambs. Hugo Lloris saying the title fight is over. You question that quite yet, but we've all had to eat a lot of humble pie, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, that defeat at Arsenal for Spurs was a bitter blow. Not just losing the North London derby, which bragging rights are still massively important. But that's really knocked the wind out of their sails of any sort of title challenge. They're a long way behind now. 3 defeats already in the league. Lloris might not be right to say it's over, but whether he actually said it's over, but it's a big dent for them. So maybe the Champions League is one they should be really concentrating on.
I dare to say anything is over yet with this Premier League. But Ali, all is not rosy. Danny Rose eyeing a move to Manchester United. Luke Shaw potentially coming the other way. That's the theory, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, Danny Rose's situation has obviously been volatile ever since he came out so outspokenly in the summer with Dave Kidd. You wonder whether Pochettino will forgive him, whatever they've said, and whether his future really is at White Hart Lane, or is at Manchester United, Manchester City, Real Madrid. You know, he's a top player. I mean, he was in the Premier League's Team of the Year last year. So you'd imagine there won't be any shortage of suitors if he's available. So watch this space. Yeah.
Well, David Moyes has his work cut out for him, and Daniel Sturridge feeling he needs to get out of Anfield if he's going to get an England look in.
Yeah, I mean, Moyes obviously probably no great surprise they lost yesterday, but again, it was a very tame performance. They had a couple of chances, but Watford comfortably outplayed them, and that's a Watford side that hadn't won in 3. So you think Moyes has got a big job on his hands.
Were you expecting more of a reaction from the West Ham players in this one?
I'm not sure. You know, there's a limit to how far that squad can go. They're not exactly a load of superstars in waiting. There's a couple of 2 or 3 very good players in there, but it's a pretty average bunch really, and I think it's going to take a special motivation to get them out, and you wonder whether David Moyes is that man.
A few of the long form pieces, and we'll send a few links that we won't quite get away in this 10 minutes because we're tight on time, but a lovely article with Kenny Dalglish ahead of his film coming out at the moment with Ollie Holt.
Yes, I mean, Ollie's known Kenny for a long time, and he's really got under the skin of Kenny. He's got a real picture of what Kenny's like. And I think the interesting thing with Kenny Dalglish, he's been an enigma for a lot of us, because as a football writer, you have your relationships with managers, and you never quite tell what's Kenny Dalglish is really like. People will tell you he's got a great sense of humour, he's great fun. You don't really see that in his dealings with the media. But Ollie knows him well, and obviously, you know, Hillsborough still haunts, as it does the whole club, and Kenny was so close to everything and still is. So there's always that tinge of sadness that undermines it all there. But a great player, you know, one of the true legends, and certainly he's been well celebrated by the Football Writers Association.
So Kenny soon, surely.
Could be. You know, I mean, knighthoods are given out sometimes deservingly, sometimes not. But I mean, if one man in football at the moment deserves one, King Kenny would be a good sounding name.
A rising star in Richarlison. He's done a lovely interview.
Rob Draper's done a great piece here about growing up in Brazil, in a really poor part of Brazil, the favelas really. A gun to my head when I was 14. You know, I mean, this is not your sort of privileged background that some of the footballers at Premier League clubs have when they're coming through the youth ranks. We've seen before players coming out of South America, like Aguero, like Luis Suarez. They're street fighters. They're, you know, Diego Maradona was one. You know, they're coming from very humble backgrounds, and they have a hunger and a desire. And Richarlison's already shown this season what an exciting prospect he is. I think Watford will have a job keeping him much longer.
Yes, and their manager, who seems there for now.
Yes, he had a very good opportunity yesterday after the game. Good win over West Ham. Played well. Really good opportunity to say, no, I'm staying at Watford, and he didn't. So I think, you know, we read between the lines there. Everton are very keen on him. There's talk of a transfer fee. Maybe it is just a question of finding the right sort of deal to suit both parties, or all 3 parties. Watford, as we know, don't tend to keep their managers for too long. So he may be looking at that thinking, well, the opportunity's there. And I think, having seen the way he's got him playing this season, I mean, really spectacular difference from last year. I think he'd be fantastic at Everton, but, you know, it remains to be seen whether they'll get the deal over the line.
There's a training ground right next to Watford as well, isn't there?
Yes.
Just moving on. Another really good article that was interesting, looking to Europe, and Calderon actually writing in the Eye.
Yes, in fact, I helped him put this piece together. It's a ghosted piece, but Ramon Calderon, former Real Madrid president, very strong views on what's going wrong at Real Madrid, really, because, you know, as the Champions League defeat by Spurs showed, they're not playing like European champions. They're off the pace in the Champions in La Liga. You know, they're now well behind Barcelona. And his take on it is that Zidane never really trained to be a coach, never really had it as a vocation. And what he did when he took the job, he was brave to take it. He brought in some of the tactics from Ancelotti and Benitez, and he used his force of personality and his man management skills to get them to 2 Champions Leagues titles and the La Liga. But it's run out of steam, and maybe a change is needed, or maybe some of their big players need to start showing up and coming to the fore. But they're in Cyprus tomorrow. That's another tricky tie. Who knows? Who knows?
There is a big week of football coming up, Champions League, and then on to the weekend's fixtures. We'll wrap all them up for you next Monday. A big week, though, coming up for the Northern Writers. It's the Northern Football Managers Award Night on Sunday.
Always a good night.
There may just be a few tickets around, but some great faces to be having a nice wine and dine with. We'll be looking forward to that. And then coming up ahead of the Manchester Derby, FWA Live, all details on the website. We've got Peter Reid, Viv Anderson, Hotel Football, a great night out. Everyone welcome, tickets available.
December the 6th.
December the 6th, important that.
And again, should be a good night.
It will be a good night. Stay with us, FWA Review next week. For now, bye-bye.